Good afternoon, everyone. So I am Khalid Al-Kuwari, currently the one of the podcast hosts. With me is Fadil Jabbar.
Yes, hello, I'm Fahad, another one of the podcast hosts.
And today we have a very interesting topic, actually, with a very interesting guest. So first of all, let me introduce Mr. Oreste Del Rio, former Panamanian ambassador and author of Warriors in the Time of Sacrifice, and also businessman, social media entrepreneur. Honestly, an amazing guest. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Khaled. Thank you so much as well, Fahad, for the invitation. I think there is one title you are missing, and this is the title that I want the most. Also, a friend.
Oh, thank you very
A
much.
brother, if I may ask for it.
Yes.
Actually, I actually met you before, Mr. Cederio, and Model United Nations, and honestly, you are one of the persons who actually made me maybe interested in diplomacy, because when you came and talked about how you became an ambassador, I actually was very interested in diplomacy, because when I entered Model United Nations, I didn't know what it was, but then when you talked and you told us about, and then I came to you and I told you I want to become an ambassador. You said sure, and you can give me your Instagram and all of that, and you followed me, and I idolized you. Honestly, I saw all your posts, all your videos, and it was amazing. You were very kind, actually, and still are.
Harry, let me tell you, if I'm kind, I don't know how to describe your heart. You are amazing. And really, for me, it's a great honor to hear what you are saying. It's a privilege to know that somehow I can touch in this very positive way, the life of someone so important like you are. You know, sometimes we don't see, but I am speaking with students of Georgetown University. I came and I come, let's say, from a small country. It is called Panama. And I come from a very small community. In Panama, it calls La Chorrera. So for me, to hear this from a student of Georgetown University in Doha, Qatar, is a real honor. You have no idea. So now you are giving me the honor. And thank you very much for
Actually,
that.
it's an honor for me. And also, I heard you actually wanted to be a Georgetown student.
It is completely true. This is one of the dreams of my life. You know, I don't know. I really, I can't die without trying. And I'm happy to hear now, before we start with the podcast, that Georgetown University has a new master degree. This is like music to my ears because I bought the hoodie. No, in fact, I was looking to buy the hoodie. But in fact, I got it as a gift from a very, very good friend from here, Mr. Joe. He gave it to me. What I bought it was other things like a mug and things like that because I'm a very big fan.
Yeah.
But the honor, one of the biggest honor of my life was to have another kind of relations as well with Georgetown University, and it is that the foreword for my book, Warriors in Times of Sacrifice, was made by one of the authors that I admire the most. Is Professor Dr. Mehram Kamrava. So for me, when I read my book, sometimes I only read the foreword because I like it very much. Yes.
So yeah, Professor Mehran Kamalov, of course, is known in Georgetown as one of the well-known professors here, and we actually took a class with him.
Yes.
He was amazing, honestly, and he actually taught us politics. He's the first professor that taught us politics, and it's really intriguing that you know him. I mean, he's known by everyone, honestly.
Very
Yeah,
much,
yeah,
very
very-
much, very much.
very well
Back in Panama, Professor Cambrava is followed by a lot of people. You will never know. It's, for people that are lawyers, as I am, diplomats, people related with international commerce, he is amazing. He's just amazing. And for me, it's a big honor, as I said, to have him in the foreword of my book.
Sure, and we'll touch that when we come to your book. But let us first of all talk about our topic today.
Yes.
So today's topic is actually we're gonna build bridges through social media, and it's a Gulf ambassador story. As you said, you wanted to to show the Panamanian people the Qatari culture, and also we want to show the Panamanian people our culture. So, so basically, we're going to discover your unique journey as a former Panamanian ambassador in Qatar who utilized your social media platforms to build bridges and connections between the Panamanian people and the Qatari people, and explore the role of digital media as how these social media platforms and your amazing translations of your books, as we saw in Spanish, you actually told the story of the blockade to the Panamanian people, which is really interesting, and we'll touch upon that. So first of all, let us just ask you, how did you start as an ambassador?
Oof, it's an amazing question, and I really appreciate it. Look, my background is a lawyer. I am by profession. My profession is a lawyer. I am a corporative lawyer, and then I took some master degrees and some other certificates and diplomas as well. I need to say, Khalid, I feel myself blessed, because I had the chance that not everybody have to be educated.
Yeah.
I was, I have a mom that always took care of this. She was always telling me the only treasure I can give you is education. And either my education was in a public school that we may think public education is not the best, and it's not a lie. It is sometimes, unfortunately, because of things of budget and things like that, the public education in different countries is not the best. It's the same case in Panama. But I would say that I was blessed because my professors, they really made an effort. A part of the problems they were facing with the budget, they made a big effort to taught their students the best they can. Not only things related with academic content, also values as a human being. And this is very important, also something that we got in our home, me, my brothers and sisters. We were very well educated, and for me this is amazing, number one. And number two, after, and I said my profession is to be a lawyer. This is my profession, this is what I am. But there is something called vocation. And my vocation is to be a politician. I love politics. I really love politics since I was a kid. Because my father, it was doing politics in Panama. But now, when you mention anywhere in the word politics, people feel afraid.
Exactly. Yeah.
People
Yeah.
feel disgust.
Yeah.
Oh my God, politicians, they are all the same. They are liars, they are cheaters. And what I dream is to clean this word. What I dream is to have a school or university of leaders. Because for me, politicians need to be a leader. Politicians need to take the lead of the public policy of a country in the to be something that it is worth it for the people, for the communities, to think in the education, to think in the supply of food, provide people with the comfortability that they can. So I became, and I started doing politics with several candidates in my country. And one day, after working for a decade probably, one of the candidates, he put an eye on me, the former president of Panama, Mr. Juan Carlos Varela. Also, I was very well supported for people of my political party. I can't mention all of them because they are a lot. And again, this is a blessing I have to be surrounded for so many amazing people. I won't lie to you. In your path, you will always find and face obstacles. You will find and face people that are not happy that you are getting some or becoming successful. They will put you obstacles sometimes. They will invent and they will lie about you. This is normal in life. This is something that you need to get used to. And in politics, you will face this a lot. Nevertheless, as I said, when the former president of Panama became a president, he remembers me and he said, you know what? Bring Oreste. And I want Oreste because I had a background as a corporative lawyer working internationally in Panama with different fields and also with the youth. I was the president of the youth of Latin America for my political party and our political organization called HOTCA. This is Democratic Youth of Central America, of America, sorry. And by that time, he gave me the honor to be the director of foreign affairs. Then I became the director of international economic relations in Panama. International. You know, when I was 32 years old, now I'm 41.
Actually, I heard like you were one of the youngest ever Panamanian ambassadors. Is that correct?
Yes. When I was 32, I had already the title of ambassador. Because when you become director of foreign affairs, you get the category of ambassador. You get the title of ambassador, not career ambassador. I need to highlight this because there is different kind of ambassadors, not only two. You have the political ambassadors. This is because, of course, the president, the minister, they give you the title of ambassador and you can come ambassador. But there is another category of ambassador, and this is the one that I really respect the most. Not that the politicals, they do a bad job, not all of them, not all of us, but the career ambassador is the one that comes from the university. They study international relations. They take courses. They need to become part as a diplomat of the Minister of Foreign Affairs. They have a very well-known universities and departments and sections or academies inside the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, like is the case of Itamaraty. It's a very well-known university of diplomacy in Brazil, like is the case of the International Relations Department in Georgetown. And this is why I want to, and other universities I will not mention because we are, we are in Georgetown and we are Georgetown students. Yeah? But when I became ambassador, as a political ambassador posted, it was at my 32 as director of foreign affairs. At my 33 years old, I couldn't say a word in English.
Actually.
None. Zero. I cannot even introduce myself when I was 33 years old.
So wait, so let me get this straight. You're now 41.
Now I'm 41.
Yeah, so when you were 33, you couldn't speak a word of English, and now
Nothing.
you speak English better than us.
No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. I keep learning from people like you that speak better than me. It's life putting you these obstacles that you need to overcome, that you need to face, and you need to take the things you want and the things you dream for. And my obstacle was the language, and the obstacle I need to overcome was to jump over this wall that was the problem that I couldn't speak English at that time. So I had the chance to study English for 2 months, intensive course in Atlanta in United States. I was sent by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Vice President of Panama. She sent me to United States, and she told me, if you can learn English in 2 months, when you come back to Panama, I will make you an interview. You will have an interview with me, and if you can manage our interview in English, I will send you as a deputy head of mission in our embassy in UAE. So I went to United States, and I remember myself crying because I couldn't. The grammar, it was so hard. Yeah. I can read. I can kind of understand some things after hearing Taylor Swift so much. But, man, the grammar was my big monster. I couldn't manage the grammar, and I was crying. I'm not embarrassed to recognize. As a man, I was crying. Sometimes I told my mom, I think I will quit. I cannot. So you need someone to push you. Now my wife keep pushing me a lot. My mom, I still have my mom, alhamdulillah, in my life, and other people, you know, and they keep pushing me sometimes when I feel weak. But one day, after all these problems, I remember I was dreaming something in English. I was speaking the worst English in my dream. But I was trying in English in my dream. And when I woke up, I was so happy. I was jumping around. And then that was a kind of motivation probably my mind gave me. Like, look, we are trying. So I keep trying, and when I finished the course after 2 months, I can't say I was speaking the best English. I'm not either now. But I can understand. And that moment I could understood what people were telling me, and I could manage to, you know, convince people to give me a pizza or something.
Oh, good.
So I came back to Panama. She made the interview with me in English, and she told me, okay, you are doing well. Go to UAE and keep taking lessons in UAE. So when I
So you're posted as an ambassador in the UAE
No,
while
no.
learning.
Deputy head.
I was deputy head of mission.
Okay.
This is the second in the embassy. We had an ambassador there, my very good friend and brother Eduardo Fonseca. He was the ambassador, and he's now the former ambassador of Panama to UAE. I learned a lot from Eduardo. He's even younger than me. And
Actually.
and we are the same, but we are pretty much the same age. And I learned so much from him. And when I was there, we managed to work together and to do. We had also an amazing team back there. But I keep learning Spanish. When I finished my job in the embassy, I was going straight to the lessons, to take the lessons of English. And after that,
And was there a difference between, actually, sorry to interrupt.
no, please.
Was there a difference between studying English in an Arab country and then studying English in...
Oh, Khalid,
An
you
English
have no
country.
idea how amazing is this question. I will tell you why. Because first of all, the English that you manage here is much British English than the American English that you find in USA for sure. But not only that, the accent you have here is a different accent as
Yeah,
well.
Of course, yeah.
I remember myself talking by the phone with a friend I have in Atlanta, okay? And when I was speaking with her, I remember she was laughing. She was telling me, why you speak like an Arab? And now, when I speak with anyone back in USA or any country in English, they always ask me if I'm Arab, you know? But also, the Arabs asking if I am Arab, because looks like I look Arabic somehow, right? So every day, someone in my life, every day, asks me something in Arabic, since I'm here. And since I left my beard grow. You know, sometimes they confuse me with an Egyptian, sometimes they confuse me with a Moroccan, sometimes they confuse me with a Saudi, and the only one who one day asked me from which family I am from Qatar was His Highness. After we got married, I remember that this is one of my thousands good memories I have from Qatar. When I recently got married with my wife, I went to His Highness Palace, Al-Washba Palace, to greeting him on the occasion of the Ramadan. And we were just married.
And that was as an ambassador still.
As an ambassador, I was
Yeah,
still
yeah.
ambassador at that time. And I remember when I came to him, you know, when you are in front of His Highness, you need to be made by ice if you will not get nervous. Every time I am in front of His Highness, I am super nervous. I need to recognize this. And this is something that happened to anyone. First of all, His Highness is taller than me. He's like 191, 190
Yeah.
something.
And we see
And-
Fahad here is very short.
Yeah, and after that, you know, we are speaking about the Emir of His Highness, the Emir of the State of Qatar. And not only that, he's a very educated person, very clever person. The things you will tell him needs to be something that is important. But I will come back to this point
Yeah.
because there is a story I want to share with you. It's very funny, by the way. But keeping what I was saying, when I came to him that day in Ramadan, I remember he asked me when I was walking to him. First of all, he congratulated me for the wedding. I didn't know he was aware of that. So imagine my honor when His Highness congratulated me for my wedding. And he congratulated me for that. After that, we received a beautiful letter from his office congratulating us for the wedding. And at that day, he told me, so why you didn't come with your top? Because on my wedding, I was wearing the top. So
Actually,
he told me, where is your top? And I was like, oh my God, I'm sorry, I couldn't bring it. So he was laughing and he asked me, from which family are you? So I have very good friends from the Al-Hajri family. So I told him,
I am half Hadri.
really?
Yeah.
So I told him, I'm Al-Hajri. And he was laughing. He's amazing. Now I can tell you, oh my God, one of the things I can highlight of the 1,000 positive things I can highlight from His Highness is that I just mentioned he's super tall. I just mentioned he's very well educated. I just mentioned he's very smart. I just mentioned he's a prince. He's the emir. His Highness himself. But he's one of the most humble people I ever met in my life. One of the most humble people I ever met in my life.
For me, I cannot brag by saying I met him, but I wish to meet him once, His Highness. But to go back to your story in the UAE as deputy head of foreign affairs,
Head of mission.
head of mission in the United Arab Emirates, we'll come back and you told us there's an amazing story with His Highness, correct?
With the
The Emir. No?
You said a funny story with His Highness.
oh yes.
Yeah, yeah,
So we
yes.
want to come back to that when you actually go to as an ambassador.
To make it like a chronologic.
Yeah.
Because I'm 41, I can't forget the topics, So
Yeah.
let's do it like this.
Yeah.
When I was in the UAE for the first time, I need to say that one of the things that impact you the most when you come from a different region is kind of if you come from a different world. Because things are so different sometimes that you get impact, you get like a shock. When I land for the first time in Dubai, it was one November 3rd, 2016 in Dubai, 1-something a.m. And I remember when I came to the immigration, one Emirati was there sitting, checking the passport. I remember I gave the passport to this official, and he was wearing like you guys in the top. And for me, it was something completely new.
It's the first time you saw it.
First time I saw someone in front of me wearing the top. I saw it in YouTube and everything, but
Yeah.
never in front of me, So I need to tell you guys, the top is the most elegant dress I ever see in my life. It's super elegant. It's intimidating somehow, So I was in front of him. I was barely speaking English, and he told me something in Arabic. He said, "Salam alaikum." And I look at him, and I said, "And my name is Oreste." Because I didn't know, I thought he was telling me his name. And now I need to recognize, quite embarrassed, that I didn't know enough. That people will tell me salam alaikum, and I need to say back wa alaikum salam. Now this is something I know. Now I can tell you salam alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. You see? And this is one of the first things that shocked me. And I didn't know what to say. He was laughing because he understood I was new in the country. So he was super, super kind with me. He told me, no, salam alaikum means the peace upon you, and you should mention something like this. And he told me, I learned it. And then he told me, welcome to the Middle East. And I put my first step in one of the regions that it will become my home. After that, I was in the UAE, like I said, studying English and everything. I had a very nice and funny story in a bus. Maybe we will
Yes,
speak
yeah.
later about it. But when I had a very good friend, he was before me the ambassador of Panama here, and he got retirement because he was, in fact, one of my professors, one of my teachers in diplomacy. So he was about to get retired, and I got a communication from Panama. They told me to cover the position. Meanwhile, they sent a new ambassador to Qatar. So I will keep living in UAE, but I will just cover for 1 to 2 months the position. And I will be taking care of the embassy. Meanwhile, they send someone else.
And when they contacted you with that, how many years were you already living in UAE?
I was in UAE. I had at that time 9 months in UAE.
Oh, so it's very fast.
9 months, 10 months. Yes, I was
And
there.
how was your English then?
But that time I would say maybe my English, it wasn't still good, but I was brave enough to don't care what people think about it. So
nice.
I was looking, I was always targeting the face of the people, and if I can't realize they cannot understand, I was trying to say in a different way until they understand me. But at that time, it was fine enough to communicate, and I came back. No, sorry, I came to Doha to cover the position in the embassy.
And what year was this exactly? Like, do you have a
That was
specific-
in 2016,
So before the blockade.
before the blockade. Yes.
And then you stayed until after the blockade? Like, were you there when,
Yes,
were you here when
yes,
the
yes.
blockade
It's
happened?
an amazing story. Fahad, look, I was here covering the embassy 2 months.
Mm.
I met with a really amazing person from the Ministry of Commerce. He became a very good friend of mine, and they had a trip to Panama. I didn't know by that time. When I came here, I tried to inject as much dynamic you can to the embassy. I was trying to visit anyone. I was trying to speak with everyone. I was trying to show the benefits to work in Panama, to do things with Panama. And he was one of the persons that I met by coincidence before they had this trip to Panama. So one day, checking the social media of the presidency of Panama, I realized that he was with the president of my country in Panama. And I wrote him like, you are in Panama? He said, yes, I'm here with, and we were with your president. It was a very good delegation. I remember it was leading by a sheikh, and then he was there and other people from the delegation. And he was saying so many positive things about our job in the embassy. It wasn't only me, it was also my team. I need to say that the team that I had in the embassy, and is part of the team that they have still working in the embassy. They were amazing. It's not only me, it was the team. And they told the president, the embassy in Panama is doing great in Qatar. So after that, maybe, 2 weeks, it was 2 a.m. in the morning, February 2017, and I received a call. Congratulations, Your Excellency. It was a former minister of Panama, a very good friend of mine. And I thought I was dreaming again, like this day I was dreaming in English.
Yeah.
I said, oh my God, one of these crazy dreams again. So I said, thank you, and I go back to sleep. When I woke up, I realized that in my inbox, in the email, I had a communication from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Panama. They were letting me know that the president decided to uh, post me as the new ambassador of Panama to Qatar. Imagine, I was like,
From learning English in America for the first time to the ambassador of Panama and Qatar.
imagine. I couldn't believe. I still, when I share this story with friends like you, I am still impressed by the bless that God give you when you are acting, just pursuing your dream, you know. And this happened to me. Then on March, I received the credentials to present to the Minister of Foreign Affairs and then His Highness. So I remember in May, end of May of 2017, I present the credentials to His Highness. And something very funny. I told you about this story.
Yes.
This is the story coming. When I was about to present the credentials to His Highness, you as an ambassador, you present with a group of ambassadors.
Yeah.
It's not only you. You present one by one, but to make it very coordinated, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, they managed to put the new ambassadors to present in different days. So I was with the ambassador of Kenya, the ambassador of Tanzania, the ambassador of Cyprus, and the ambassador of Italy, and me. Amazing, beautiful, the national anthems of all these countries. I was with these amazing people that they were ambassadors before. I can tell you so many stories that hopefully we will be able to share in one of your majlis. I still don't have majlis, but one day, inshallah,
Inshallah.
I will have. So we were sitting there waiting to see His Highness. I remember the ambassador of the ambassador of Cyprus. He was very fresh. He was very relaxed because this was probably his fourth post as an ambassador. So he was relaxed, no problem. He knows perfectly what he needs to say. The ambassador of Tanzania, the same. She is now the vice minister of foreign affairs in Tanzania. She is a very good friend of mine as well. The ambassador of Kenya, he was like, just waiting the moment. He was thinking himself, his mind. And the ambassador of Italy, my very good friend, Pasquale Salzano, he's now the director of international investments in Italy. He's a very, very smart person, very intelligent ambassador, amazing one. He was studying, what he will say. This is the proposal. Italy and Qatar, they share a lot of things. So he had a library to speak with His Highness. And I was with a small notebook thinking what to say. I had, of course, different topics that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Panama prepared for me, but I knew that I will have maybe 3 minutes to speak with His Highness. So I took the most important ones: Panama Canal, airlines, airlines in Central America and America. I was thinking in the commerce, etc. But when I came in front of His Highness and I see this gentleman almost 2 meters, and I was so intimidating, I got like blank. My mind was completely empty. And the only thing that came to my mind was, "You are so tall." And
You actually told them that.
yeah, this is what the first thing that comes to my mind was, "Oh, you are so tall." And he looked at me and he laughed. He's really, really the kindest person I ever meet. And he invited me to see it. He was asking me things about Panama because I was still in shock. And he was asking me the things that I should tell him. He was asking me. Then, when the nervous pass and I put the nervous on aside, I start talking with him. And he was the one to push me, to feel relaxed to speak. And I speak with him. We spoke about Panama. And then, when I finished, I told him, His Highness, we should create a basketball team.
Oh.
Your Highness will be amazing in the basketball team. So he told me, yeah, that will be great, but the thing is, I love tennis. So I was like, oh, okay, I understand. So after that, every time I see him, I was just impressed by his personality and all the things he was leading. As I said, I present my credentials in May, end of May. I was ready to take short vacation to celebrate. I became ambassador when I was 34 years old, 35 years old, 34, I don't remember. And uh, what I remember is that after pretty much 10 days, I woke up 6 in the morning. I started reading the newspaper, and the news was that Bahrain announced the blockade to Qatar. Then it comes Egypt, UAE, and the other countries.
And as like a new ambassador in Qatar, you just came here into a region, and a country which didn't really have a lot of events, regional events. But as soon as you were appointed, you had one of the biggest events in Qatari history that happened, and that brings us really. It's a great way to take us to your book, actually. Warriors in the Time of Sacrifice. And as you told us, Professor Mehran Kamrava gave the foreword.
Yes.
And talk to us about your book, actually. And of course, you have many stories here in the time when you were as an ambassador. But to take us to the topic of social media, just briefly talk to us about how did the book actually help you educate the Panamanian people about the Qatari culture and the events that happened in the blockade?
Yeah, when the blockade started, I was afraid as other resident of Qatar. I wasn't thinking as an ambassador, I was thinking as a resident. I was thinking, what is going on? Why is this happening to us? Not to His Highness, not to the government, not to my friends, brothers and sisters Qataris, to us, because I felt I was under attack as all the people that were residing and living here. I remember I started receiving hundreds of calls in my phone, Panamanians asking me what to do, what is going to happen. It will start a war. But immediately, I remember the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Qatar, they contact us immediately. They told us, be calm, we are managing the situation, nothing will happen. And it was like this. I need to tell you, the book I wrote, it has different, it comes from different ideas, but mostly the idea is to share how a small country like Panama, because Qatar is a small country like Panama, but how a small country could manage to stand his dignity before any kind of attack. How a small country managed to show the world that we will not be under our knees just because someone else wants us to do something different. This was the first idea to write this book, to share not only with Panamanians, but also with people from Latin America, how we living here learn that nobody can tell you you cannot do something, and how you can stand to defend yourself and your people.
So even if Qatar is in the Middle East, Panama is in Latin America, you have to. This story can be shared to educate for example, any Panamanian country to not be pressured by countries.
Completely. It's like this. For me, Qatar is a role model in diplomacy. Because I remember we had at that time statements from different countries supporting Qatar immediately. You will think that, oh my God, people will stay neutral. They will not say anything. No. Big countries come and support the position of Qatar. They said, hey, Qatar is my brother. Careful what you are doing. This was amazing for me. And this helps me to understand how diplomacy really helps you to build this kind of good relations that will helps you if you are in a kind of situation like this one.
So writing this book, who was like your exact targeted audience? Like who did you want to be reading this book?
I will be very honest, Fahad. Very super honest. The first target for this book was my grandparents. You know why? Because I grew with them. They were like my father and my mother, but they don't have actually Instagram or Facebook.
Mm.
They pass away already, both of them. But when I wrote it for them because I want to share with them what I was doing. And I want them to know what was happening with me meanwhile I was here. And I want them to be proud of me. So this was my first audience. Then the book name, title, is Warriors in Times of Sacrifice. You know from where it comes?
No.
Your national anthem.
Actually.
Yes. In Arabic, the Arabic, what is written in Arabic?
يحاربون في زمن التضحيات. So this is actually it's to understand.
In your national anthem,
Yeah.
you said, we are dove in times of peace,
Yeah.
and we are warriors in times of sacrifice.
But
You
yeah,
gave
exactly.
me the title of my book.
That's very interesting.
You gave
And
me
it's
the
actually
title.
it's an amazing title since you're gonna talk about in your book. You talked about also the sacrifice the Qatari people had made.
Exactly, and you know why? Because when I came here, I can tell you, the kindest people I ever met is the Qatari people. But the strongest warriors I ever met are the Qatari people. You have the same. You are both in the same. Because of your national anthem, you are dove in times of peace. When it's peace, you are dove. But when you need to make sacrifice to protect your community, to protect your country, to protect your dignity, to defend your rights, you are warriors. And this is from where the title comes from. The cover, the design, it was made by one of my very good friends and most special person in life, Olga Sinclair. She is one of the most important artists of Latin America. And it was a gift, by the way, from the Ministry of Culture and Sport at that time. The former minister, I had a meeting with him before to get married. And he gave us this amazing gift to prepare with the help of the Ministry of Culture this book. And of course, as I said, Mr. Mehram Kanrava to help us with the forward. This is also an amazing privilege.
And of course, it's also translated into many languages, as we see Arabic, Spanish. I am guessing, of course.
Yes, we have it.
Yeah.
We have it in Spanish, English, and Arabic. When I finished my position as an ambassador, we came both of us to His Highness to greeting him on the finish of our duties as an ambassador. And I brought him the first ever copy of the book. I brought it in Arabic, and he was very happy. I remember when he opened the box we prepared for him, he saw the book, and he said, "Wow, you wrote a book about Qatar." I said, and in fact, this is also true. I was looking for something I could give His Highness as a gift, but what can you, as a very humble person, give to someone that, alhamdulillah, could have any material thing? I thought the best I can share, the best I can give, the only thing I can give is a book written by myself. So I give it to him, and we translated in Arabic with the help of the Ministry of Culture. And he said, "It's in Arabic." He said, "I will read it, and I will give you my comments." So he is a very busy person. Most probably one day I will get the comments. But for me, to have this honor to give it in his hands, for me was, in fact, it wasn't a gift for him. It was more a gift for me to have this chance to give it to him, and of course, to the people of Qatar, my brothers and sisters in Qatar.
And honestly, as writing a book, it really helps tell the people the story of Qatar. But now, coming to the topic of social media.
Yeah.
As so you left after you left, as you said, you left your duties as an ambassador with the Emir, giving him your amazing book. Honestly,
Thank you.
You went and became like a social media influencer in Qatar. Yeah. So I see your posts, your videos. So can you share us your transition story from a diplomat to a social media influencer in Qatar? And of course, I know you met with a lot of social media influencers in Qatar. So this transition, what's the story?
First of all, I need to recognize and thanks my wife for this. She is the one who leads the social media. She is the one always taking pictures, taking videos, telling me do that, walk again, smile better, fix this shirt. This is the truth. And after that, I will say myself, I recognize in social media a very powerful tool. I consistently speak when I have the chance about the opportunities that brings the social media platform to reach a bigger scope, to reach fastest way an audience. Because there is my book, for example.
Yeah.
But you need to have it in your hands first to start reading.
Exactly. Yeah.
But this podcast, today, tomorrow, or when you have it ready, it will have something it calls immediacy. Once you post it, next second will reach thousands, millions of people. And this is the powerful tool that social media provides you. And I really believe in something that I read in a book of one very well recognized diplomat. His name is Henry Kissinger.
Well known.
Know him. And he speaks in one of his books about digital diplomacy. I truly believe in digital diplomacy. I don't think it will replace yet the traditional diplomacy, where you have bilateral meetings and you speak very high-level private topics. But it will become a tool to boost the way how we make diplomacy. Because with this, you can have, for example, let's speak about the United Nations General Assembly that happens every year. You bring to New York thousands of diplomats. New York is completely freeze in September. You have all these diplomats there that comes from every country, every single place in the world to participate in these meetings. But what happened with the budgets? You need to spend in the accommodation, you need to spend in the tickets, you need to spend in the food, you need to spend in several things I can mention. But I will take me the whole podcast. What is the problem with the budget? Some countries just can't afford this. It's too expensive. But if we manage to create this digital platform, you can have easily, immediacy, several thousand and even more people connected in a meeting without expending a penny. And this is only one of the different benefits that you will get for this new way to make international policy, to make diplomacy, you know. And this is why I truly believe in digital diplomacy. And when when I was surprised by so many things I learned in Qatar and the Middle East as well, I was always looking how I share this with my people. I need them to know. I need to understand. So many people were asking me, Oreste, why they wear white and black? Oreste, why they use this thing in the head? Oreste, why they don't use shoes? Like, why they use sandals? So is the desert very hot or is not that hot? I want to share everything. And imagine, before, much longer before, you need to write a letter, bring it to the postmail. It will take, I don't know how long, to reach your country. Then someone will take it. It will read it in the newspapers. And it will take him months to be able to be shared.
And like when you go back before, no pictures were allowed. Colorful picture, exactly. But now I can see.
Exactly. And in the newspaper, you buy the newspapers. So the only ones who will have the chance to get to know this information, it will be the people that pay for this. But now, Instagram is free. Facebook is free.
Yeah.
TikTok is free. And so many other platforms. You know better. I'm 41.
You're very young.
This is the ones I know. But this was, the first ideas that comes to my mind. It's the way how to share and to get this constancy with the people back in my country.
And that actually takes us to a very good question that we had also. There are many cultural gaps between countries.
Sorry?
Cultural gaps, meaning
Yeah.
differences between the Panamanian people and the Qatari people being from two different continents. But you, as a social media influencer, how did you close those gaps? How did you bring the Panamanian people and the Qatari people together?
I feel myself as an equalizer. You know?
Middleman.
Yeah.
Huh?
Like the middleman.
The middleman.
Yeah.
I feel myself like a translator.
Yeah.
Like a cultural translator. Sometimes we think we are different, but in fact, it's not that we are different. It's just that we see the things in a different way, but at the end, we end in the same point. I wrote another book. The name is Letters on the Wall. It's not this one. That other book is a compilation of articles I was publishing in different newspapers in different countries. I remember one of the articles that I like the most. The name is Maktub. Maktub. Maktub means it is written, right? And Maktub comes in the Quran when you mention the word inshallah. Because for me it was very curious. Every time when I'm speaking with a friend, they finish inshallah. I was like, why inshallah? So I start studying about it. And then I reached this word maktub that I love the word. And I understood that in Latin America, we use the word ojalá. It means if God wants, happen. It's kind of the same of inshallah, right? And maktub, we said that sometimes we follow the destiny. We are made for something. And when I realized this, I said, come on. We think we have different ways to see religion, but at the end, both religion, Muslim and Catholic, like I am, we are looking to be good people. We are looking to make the best for our brothers and sisters. So we are not that different. Probably, sometimes we wear different clothes, but this has an explanation, right? in the Quran is mentioned why even Catholics, if we go to the church, we need to wear in a proper way. But even in the language, when you speak Spanish, you realize that so many words comes from Arabic.
Like
Yes.
I know one word, atuka, is sugar.
Sugar, yeah,
This is-
we say. Yeah, I heard it's sugar, right?
Sukkar.
Sugar, azúcar.
Also,
You said-
sapon, sapon, which is soap.
Exactly.
the same
So,
level.
exactly. You say almohada. And we said almohada, you said almohada, right?
This
Yeah,
pillow.
مخدة, yeah.
The pillow is almohada. And different things. Some people even knows much many words, but this is what I was trying to do, to try to put things together and to make people themselves to find the coincidence. I was trying to focus in the coincidence, not in the things that make us different.
Yeah.
I was trying to find all the time when I was posting something, when I was making a video, people to say, oh yeah. Sometimes I said, the thing is that Arabs, they play football with the top and we play with short pants. People said, yeah, but the thing is that even us and them, they need to score a goal to win. I said, exactly, it's the same thing. Different ways, but the same thing. And it was things like that helps me to create this community that I really appreciate people that follows me. I never look to be, like you said, the influencer. I don't know if I can influence. I cannot influence even my wife. But I try my best, and this is very, very kind from you to say.
And also, like, as I said, I want to say an influencer because you are. You
Thank you,
influenced
thank
me,
you.
as I said.
Thank you, Khalid. Thank you
Like,
so much.
as an influencer, you as you said, you bridged the gap with the coincidences, as you saw. Do you think that social media made culture more significant because people around the world now know? For example, I know the Latin culture now just easily by searching Panama or searching any other country.
Your question, you made it in a very, very, very nice way. Can you please repeat the question, because you use a word I forgot and I want to use it in my answer. Please.
I forgot the question.
I think you said social media made significant the culture,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I want to say the opposite. Culture made significant social media.
So you're saying that culture actually made social media important?
Exactly.
How, in what ways do you think that is?
Exactly, because when you are a Qatari and you goes to what was the last country Fahad you visit?
Lebanon, Beirut.
Lebanon. And where you ate, which restaurant you visit to eat?
I went to Sharif, a Lebanese restaurant.
A Lebanese,
Yeah.
right? You didn't went to an Italian or Panamanian restaurant, or you went to
A Lebanese, yeah.
a Lebanese restaurant because you like the Arabic food, right? So when you are in Instagram, most probably the food that will show up in your social media will be Arabic restaurants.
Yeah.
Because you like this kind of topic. You look for this kind of topic. And it's pretty much the same when you are speaking about different things. This is cultural, by the way. Food is
It's culture, yeah.
cultural as well. But it's the same when you are looking for different kind of songs, dance. One of the things that I remember the most of our wedding is that we were wearing the traditional Qatari clothes. In that wedding, we had people singing. I made the sword dance, and I was kind of breaking something cultural, because the problem that sometimes we have is that we stick to the things that we are used to.
So you broke the wall and actually became a part of the Qatari culture while soul dancing.
I won't be arrogant to say that I became part, because I wish I can be part. This is my dream. But I need to say, yes, I was trying, as a respectful ambassador, as to show how much I admire the Qatari culture. But what is the problem sometimes, Khalid and Fahad? People feel embarrassed because sometimes we don't know how to dance the sword dance. They will never dance, and they will lose one of the amazing chance of their life. I can tell you now, it's very difficult for me still to dance the sword dance, but I try. I don't think that it will be easy, for example, for you to dance Latin American songs, because also it's something cultural.
Yeah.
But in the proper way where it's allowed, I was always trying to break the obstacle that most of the times are only in our mind. Not even is prohibited by law, it's in our mind. Sometimes it's ourselves, our afraid that didn't allow us to make things. So I was trying to break in this, and with the culture, publishing this wedding in my Instagram was the moment when my followers were immediately, very growing very fast, and it was the culture, the thing that helped me.
And also, now we have to make Fahad the guest because Fahad, his father was a diplomat. He
Oh.
actually lived. He lived with his father in many countries, and I want to know, Fahad, is your story also relevant with Oreste Dario's story?
Well, in some ways, yes. So, like Khalid mentioned, my father was also an ambassador, and I was very young, so I was going with him from post to post. We went to Hungary, Budapest, and then Johannesburg, South Africa, and most recently, The Hague, the Netherlands. So obviously, you have like these different parts of the world which came to me as a cultural shock, especially since I was so young. But like you mentioned, like you go to a new place and you're seeing different things you've never seen before, and sometimes you need to like take a shot at it, like you did with the sword dancing. For me, in Hungary, that was the food. They have this food called goulash. It's like a type of soup, and I was very like afraid to try it. It's something I've never tried before, but once I did, I actually like came to realize that I enjoy it. And you probably have the same thing with the Qatari food.
That's why I
Majbousa.
mentioned the food, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Food is a big part of culture. So, and I think, yeah, it brings us together. Like food, I would say, is one of the main cultural things that just brings us together as people. So, yeah, like I said, in some ways, our stories are very similar in terms of adapting to a new place and cultures and like uniting people.
As we see, like social media. So, for example, here a Qatari whose father is a diplomat, and you have a Panamanian who is a diplomat. We see how these stories are really close to each other. As you said, coincidences before, but is it a coincidence? Because social media has made us connect really easily. Even in this podcast, I texted you on Instagram, Mr. Oreste, can I have a podcast with you? And you agreed so reluctantly and so humbly agreed. And so the question is now, as you hear Fahad's story and your story, for many people around the world, the stories are very similar, correct? So does social media enhance these similar stories and bridge all those people's cultures together?
Fahad, Khalid, what I just realized when Fahad was talking, somehow every of us, any person, somehow we are all ambassadors.
Yeah.
Somehow we are all ambassadors. When our friend Salman is visiting any country, he's representing Qatar. He's representing the Middle East. He's representing the Arab world. He's representing your religion, and he's representing your culture. He's representing your beliefs. And you have, as I said before, different kind of ambassadors. You have the political ambassadors, you have the career ambassadors, but let's add other kind of ambassadors. You have the social media ambassadors. And these are the private person, the individuals that are sharing very proudly things from your country and sharing with the people of your country things that you are learning from other countries, from other cultures. One of the most important Latin American influencers, his name is Luisito Comunica, he's a Mexican. He's so strong because what he was doing was sharing his trips with his community. And he was traveling Japan, and in Japan, I remember I was so curious how Japanese are so impeccable in everything. And he was telling us, Japanese, you can keep your car with the key and nobody will steal it and things like that. And I was like, wow, you know. And here in Qatar, I was saying, like, in Qatar, you can go to any majlis. You don't know anyone in the majlis, and you will say salam alaikum. They will say alaikum salam, tafadal, or ahlan wa sahlan, and they will invite you to see. These are the things that people cannot understand. You think that in Latin America you will come to any house like, hi, hello, can I sit? And people will tell you, yeah, of course. No, it's not like that. But these are the things, and I think also, before to finish, I think that the most important things that we need to share are the positive things. Yeah. We need to learn and teach to others the positive things that we learn from other cultures. Because if we can apply the same in our culture, I think we will have a better world somehow.
Yeah, that's amazing. We talked about also the positiveness of social media and how it closes the gap of cultural identities. But for our last topic today, I think we have to talk about also the dark side of social media. So as we said, like, social media can also promote a lot of stereotypes about
like the ones you mentioned of the politicians being labeled as cheaters or liars.
Yeah.
So like, what do you think the role of social media is in that?
Yeah, social media, it's a tool, but can be as well a weapon. And unfortunately, as it is not, because one of the universal rights you have is the right to express what is in your mind. This is a universal right that need to be protected. So in platforms like Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, etc., most of the times you can find people that doesn't take the measures to share proper things or to use a proper language, to remember that people that follows you can be influenced by you. I remember a very sad chapter in the life of a very strong country in the north of my continent, when a president called the people to protect the democracy, and people went and took one of the most honorable institutions in that country. I can't say that he made it intentionally. I can't say it. I'm no one to say this. But in fact, what I can actually say is that it is very dangerous to use this powerful tool in this regards, because it will turns in a weapon.
And one of our topics in class actually was imagined communities. So this theory is like, as a Qatari, I have to protect my country, but of course I don't know all the Qataris, but I still have a duty to protect my country. So this story actually reminded me of this theory that people and nationalism has elevated with social media. I love my country more because of social media. You remember the blockade? Qatari people were talking on Twitter, on Instagram, we have to protect our country. We are standing strong against any person who wants to attack our country.
Yes, and it united us as a people and as a country to like stand against those who were doing us wrong.
And of course, this is a very sensitive topic, of course, social media, but to prevent online hate speech, for example, and between cultures, for example, they say that Arabs are, for example, terrorists. They say other, like, these stereotypes are prevalent in social media, and we cannot say, oh, social media is this amazing thing. We have to talk about also how cultures are taking wrong, because we see that the Qatari culture is beautiful, as you said, but not a lot of people actually understand how beautiful the Qatari culture. They always hear the dark side of it. Even the World Cup, as you remember, we had a lot of people talk bad about Qatar, but then Qatar showed itself. We are here.
Yes, I truly believe in time. I believe in history. And I always said that history will give you the truth. I think that you should never allow yourself to fall on the people that attack you to get the worst part of you. And this is why I admire so much His Highness in these regards and others, because I will never forget one of the strongest phrases for me in one of his speeches about the blockade. He mentioned the silver lining is the positive thing that you find on the crisis, the positive things and the opportunity that you will find on the worst scenario. And now you know, as I know, that Qatar is stronger than before. Someone put you in this situation. They put you against the wall. And you, in that moment, as a country that were attacked by people that you trust, people you love as your brothers, where you can go. The only place to go was just to be resilient, to stand, to be patient, and to build a stronger Qatar.
And do you think social media actually helped that elevate?
100%. 100%, because the people that I saw supporting Qatar was everyone in social media.
Mm.
As you said, there was people. And you know, one of the things that I also highlight from His Highness and the leadership of Qatar, from His Highness, his team, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, the different ministers, the Qatari people, is that you never fall on the attacks. There were people looking for fight, but for me, the strongest people are the ones that can receive the hit and not attack, fire back, backfire the attack.
Yeah.
Because then it will turn in a war.
Yeah.
And you need two parts that are looking to fight, to have a fight. But if the other part is mature enough to manage the situation, you get what you got on January 5th, 2021, to fix the situation. I remember another amazing, strong phrase from His Highness. If they are ready to make one step ahead, I'm ready to make 10,000 ahead to fix the situation.
And I think patience major role in this.
Exactly.
And to conclude, I wish we have 10 hours to talk to you, honestly. We have to,
I never feel it. For me, it's like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
we would love to speak with you for 10 hours, honestly. Your stories are amazing, and your stories actually inspire me to want to be a diplomat more. As in, I am a student in Georgetown studying politics. I wish you're going to become a student also.
Oh, inshallah.
Hopefully, we'll see you on campus next week.
Yeah, we want to study with you, actually. We have to have a class with you.
Yeah.
But as we conclude, actually, for the last question, what advice do you give to the social media influencers who are trying to also bridge the cultural gaps, not only between Qatar and Panama, but between Qatar and the world?
You know, the thing that I admire the most from people that share content in social media, first is the kind of content that you share. I admire people that are looking to improve the content that we have in platforms, social platforms. I really appreciate when someone is sharing optimism and motivating other people. This really, I really appreciate this. So what I will suggest the people that are influencers or want to become influencers is to be consistent, to never stop because the results they are looking for are not immediate. You know, I think that persistence is not only a part of success, but is the way to success. I think that when you have vocation, you will keep working in this, not looking for anything else than the beliefs that you have. And when you are consistent, you will be successful in one day. This is because you deserve it. And not because you deserve it because Oreste said it, because this is life. You know, when you are in the path, at the end, after be persistent, keep walking, never stop. You will fail a lot. You will feel depressed sometimes. You will feel tired. You will get sick. You will have hungry. You will want to go to sleep. But the important thing is always stand up and keep going. This is my suggestion.
Amazing, honestly. Our first guest, and I think my favorite guest, honestly.
Yeah.
My
Thank
first
you.
and my favorite guest.
Thank God you
honestly.
only have one until now.
But as this, I hope this podcast is it's going to be translated in Spanish and then sent to. This is also, as we said, a part of social media. You're going to send it. It's going to go very quickly, and then people will understand this podcast. Will understand Georgetown University. Probably we're going to have a flag of Panama. People are
Oh.
going to come.
Inshallah,
Yes.
if they admit the Panamanian for the masters.
Inshallah.
We would love the Panamanian flag to be in Georgetown University, Qatar, and you have been an amazing guest. We hope we have been amazing hosts.
You are the best. My favorite host.
Honestly, thank you, Mr. Royce Dario. We would love to have you again in the future as also a colleague, a student with us in the master's class. And yeah, anything else, Fahad?
No, it was actually a pleasure. You're very interesting and very articulate speaker. But yeah, thank you very much for being here and for telling us about your experiences. And
Thank you
sharing
very
your
much to you. Thank you so much to you guys, to Georgetown for having me and for giving me this honor. As I said, one of